Hello, everyone. I hope you're all well and welcome to session 4 of the NeuroFlow Tai Chi for survivors of stroke and brain injury and those who support them and are significant to them. I think we've had the first week where this thing started without any technological difficulties, so that's amazing and excellent. Um, just to give you a heads up that we are going to be changing how we do things because um, Facebook keeps changing the structure of how the live sessions are set up, which makes it hard for people like me to follow the same sequences to get the technology set up. So what we're going to do is we're now going to move to pre-record sessions, and different strokes are going to put up the recordings at 4 o'clock on Monday. So it won't be live, but you'll be getting new content at 4 p.m. every Monday. And myself and Alison will be present on the chat as well. So, hi Emma. So this is the last live session, so exclusive. And what we're going to do is we're going to take forward things we've been exploring in the last 3 weeks. So we've been thinking about how different kind of movements come from the breath and the core, and how this breath and core, particularly around here, around our belly, can drive different ways of moving our arms and our legs. And we've been exploring how to amplify that movement through our body with options for standing versus seating, both sides of the body, both arms versus one arm, one side of the body. So, hi Alison, good, everyone's here. So, what I'm going to do, we're going to shift things a little bit. Okay, so what we're going to do, we've been doing different movements each week. There's been a continuous kind of connection between them. But we're going to take the idea of the movement, and then we're going to work through a set of 18 movements. Okay, in Chinese it's called Shiba Shi, which means 18, set of 18. And we're going to do 3 or 4 each week. Okay, and we're going to build up to having a flow of up to potentially 18 movements to explore within half an hour. Okay, we're going to do it nice and gentle and slow so that each new movement, look at each week, becomes familiar to everyone. And the beauty about these particular movements is they can be done seated versus standing, and one side of the body versus both sides and both arms. So they're really nice. And the idea is that by doing movements that are familiar, become familiar every week, then we can get into that flow state that I've been talking about previously. Be like, okay, I know this one, and then, oh, I know that this one comes next, and we can get into it. So maybe if you've done any kind of a yoga class, or maybe another Tai Chi class where there's a flow things evolve, then it's like a bit like a ritual, and you can get into that, and over time become familiar, and you have to think a little bit less each time. You can get into that state of mind that I've been exploring with you, that flow state of mind. Okay, so what we're going to do, have a little warm up, a little stretch, and we're going to do the first, maybe we're going to try the first 3 or 4 movements. See how we get on when we get to number 3, and I'm in no rush, and we're going to explore this, okay? And then over the next few weeks, we'll review the ones that we did the preceding week, and then we'll move and add a few more, and add a few more, and add a few more. Okay, so in the end, you'll have a group think, okay, all familiar. And with all of the adaptations, there should be an option for each of you such that you're not feeling that it's too difficult. Okay, and you've got your own personal doorway into that flow state of mind. All right, so let's have a little warm up, a little stretch to begin with. Okay, so if both arms are accessible to you, I want you to interlace the fingers and then stretch up. If one arm is accessible, you're going to lift that one up, okay? And straighten your body and a nice stretch in the torso. And wherever you are, I want you to twist to one side. Doesn't matter if it's left or right. twist the body to one side. And then come back to the middle and then twist to the other side. Come back and then bring both arms or one arm down to the side. Just feel that stretch on the shoulders. And then bring them down. And then I want you to start rolling the shoulders. And again, it could be both shoulders, it could be one shoulder. Up to your ear, roll them back. Shoulders up, back. And even though this is a warm-up, we can already use this to get into a flow. Think about slow, deep breath in. Those shoulders rolling up and back. Nice. And then let's change direction, bring them up, roll them forward. Good. Nice. Okay. And then just twist the body to one side. Keep nice and tall if possible. And then back to the other side. Good. Put your hands on your belly, and if one hand is not so responsive, sandwich that in the middle. So have the least responsive hand in the middle and have the better hand over the top. And then just give your belly a nice massage, circling one way. And the other way. Right. All right. And then just moving to get the legs. If you're seated, you might all be seated at this point. You can lift your heel or heels, put it down, then lift your toes, the toes on one foot, toes on both foot and down. So just heels up, down, toes up, down, just beginning to stretch the calves and the hamstrings gently. And if possible, maybe go on the ball of one foot and start to just circle the foot around one way and circle the foot and the ball of the foot the other way. And if the other foot is available to you, then do the same with the other foot. Circle one way and the other way. All right, guys. So I hope that has helped you a little bit more limber, and we kind of do these kind of warm-ups just to unblock everything to allow the flow of chi energy around the body in an unimpeded way. So we're going to begin the process of actually doing the Tai Chi movement. Okay? So with each movement, I'm going to introduce the seated version, one hand, both hands, and the standing version, one hand and both hands. And I want you to decide which versions you're going to do. For some of you, that may be a very straightforward decision, is that seating, maybe in a wheelchair, is the main option. But for some, if it could go either way, you could stay seated, you go standing. Just think what kind of compassionate for you right now today. If by standing, it means that it's really difficult and effortful, and it's not going to be your gateway into that flow state of mind, then don't do it. Stay seated. But if it feels like standing would be a safe thing for you and you wouldn't have to think about it too much, then you want to kind of be kind of upright and higher up today, then it's completely fine. So make the right decision. Don't force anything. In Tai Chi, it's a nice saying, it's like a drop of water will erode away a mountain eventually. So we're in it for the long game here. Everything is slow, everything is steady. So do the thing that's right for you. All right, so we're going to begin our first of the 18 movements. I'm going to start in a seated position. So let's just have our hands on the belly, and we're going to go to the most important thing that's going to run throughout everything we do. It's run throughout everything we've done so far, and that's the breath. Just think about slow breath in through your nose. Feel that balloon of air in your belly. And then a slow breath out through your nose. That balloon shrivels up. Forget it, slow and deep. Slow breath in. That balloon expands and fills the belly. And then slow breath out. The balloon shrivels up. Keep that thread of breath going. Don't worry about when you breathe in relation to your movement. Just keep it slow, and eventually the movements and your breath will find their own relationship. All right, so we're going to start with movement number 1 from the 18. We're going to go with an up and down movement of the arms or an arm. So I'm starting with both arms coming up and down. For some of you, it may be one arm coming up and down. That's completely fine. If both arms are available, you're going to do both arms up and down. If one arm is available to you, you're going to do one arm up and down. And the movements themselves, think about the shoulders first, then the elbows, then the hands, and back down, shoulders, elbows, hands. Up, shoulders, elbows, hands, down, shoulders, elbows, hands. And this won't you get lost in the flow of this movement. For me, this movement reminds me of like a field of wheat with the wind blowing the heads of the wheat in a beautiful pattern. You can think about leaves blowing in the wind. Don't get hung up too much on making yours look like mine. Just use the movement as a doorway into your own experience. Absorb in this, forget that I'm here. Remember, we have the one arm option. Up, down. And if you can bring the other side of the body into that in any way, so as the arm raises, comes down as the arm raises, maybe the other shoulder can come up with it. And then the other shoulder can sink down. Maybe the trunk rises with the other arm and comes down. And just explore, what can I reclaim from the stroke? What can I incorporate into my Tai Chi movement? Maybe the arm is not responsive. Maybe the other side of my body is. Maybe the shoulder is. Maybe the collarbone is. Maybe a lengthening can make the other side of the body match the flow of my arm movement. Good sign. So we can all find a bilateral balanced movement. Flow in the movement. Elbows heavy, shoulders relaxed. The movement should ease away aches rather than create any. So if you're finding anything hurting, there might be arms aching, just see where's that tension. Can I just breathe it away? Now some of you may be standing doing this, so I'm just going to switch to a standing posture. Everyone else who's seated, keep going. Keep flowing in a seated position. I'm going to move myself back. I'm getting better at positioning myself in the camera, guys. I'm learning. Bear with me. You can't see my feet, don't worry about that. Your feet are underneath your shoulders, hip width apart. You're kind of sat down with a slight bend in the knees, sat down into your hips. Same thing, arms up, down, shoulders, elbows, wrists and hands, down, shoulders, elbows, wrists and hands. If you were seated and you want to explore doing a standing, by all means switch it around, as long as it doesn't unsettle your mind and take you out of that state of flow. Each repetition is a few steps further into the state of flow. Nice, guys. Beautiful. And when you do these sessions with me, if you want some chill music in the background, put some music in the background. It's best if it doesn't have a strong beat. But if there's any kind of yoga, Tai Chi, chilled out ambient kind of music, by all means put it on if it helps. Okay, so this is movement number one. So either seated or standing, one arm or both arms. I hope it feels like, yeah, I can do this. This can get me into a nice state of mind. We're going to start to explore movement number two. I'm going to go back seated now. Keep flowing the arms up and down, don't stop. Keep going. And we're going to get into number two. Number two is kind of like a little development, number one. So the arms come up, but then the palms face each other, and then they go out and back. And then the palms come down. Arms up, palms face each other, out, back towards each other, down. And again, one hand version, palm up, turn the palm inward, palm comes out, palm comes back towards your center line, palm comes down, up, palm towards the center line, palm comes out, palm comes to the center line, down, both hands up, palms face each other, palms come out, back towards each other and down. And if you have two palms working action, just for everyone actually, just bring your awareness to sensations in the palm. Very important area. Chinese call it Lao Gong. It's like an energy point and both a receptacle and an expressor of energy. You might see in some other cultures like in Morocco where there's an eye shown in the palm of the hand. So many cultures recognize like the hollow of the palm as a very special point in the body. And these movements, and you get the palm active like this, you might start to notice tingles, maybe some heat. And this would be what the Chinese call qi. Keep it going, one hand version up, palm faces your center line, palm goes out, palm faces your center line, down. Check in with the breath. Arms up. So hopefully this feels like it is a nice continuation of the first movement with an extra plane of movement attached to the up and down. It flows quite nicely for people. And then again, we've got the seated version here. A standing version I'll just go into. Keep flowing in the movement, guys. Okay, so out, out, down, up, If you're standing and one side faces into your center line, out, out, out. Enjoy the flow. Imagine if we're all doing this together. Be like a shoal of fish or a murmuration of starlings, all moving in unison. What a beautiful idea. Around the country and around the world, because I know people check in on this session from all over the world too, all moving together. Okay, movement number 2. So a little recap. Seated or standing, movement number 1 is up and down. With the one-sided version, up and down. And maybe you can bring the body and the shoulder on the other side up with the arms. And then number 2 is up, palms face each other, come out, come back, and down, up, face each other, out, back, down. Got 2 movements here. Ready for number 3. Number 3 is going to be a little bit different, but it's still going to develop our flow. So one more of these. I want everyone else just to keep flowing in the movement while I reset myself. Alrighty. So now we're going to bring our hands down. We're going to bring our hands, palms facing each other, and I want you just to sway from side to side. Maybe think of like a football match. You have a scarf in your hand. Or maybe think about branches or reeds, heads of corn or barley, wheat, moving side to side. If bringing the hands up high is difficult, then you can bring your hands down low, extending the elbows a bit more. Keep the wrist free. So this is the two-handed version. Keep that breath going. And for some of you, it might be one hand higher or lower. Engage the other side of the body where possible. Think about the whole trunk going over. Enjoy the flow. Nice. 2 hands over. Very graceful, beautiful movement. And maybe you're still feeling the palms buzzing a bit from the last movement. Now the palms of your hands are energized in this different way. Okay, and then go to the standing version here. And those of you who are doing a standing, you might find further expression of the movement here. Rocking side to side. And there are some options with the feet here. So you might keep your feet planted on the floor. Or you might lift one foot, lift the toe out to the side, put it down. Lift the other toe out to the side, put it down. So you're lifting the toe or the side that you're bringing the hands over to. If that compromises balance, keep the feet planted. No problem at all. Just enjoy the sway side to side. And this is when you might find this extension of the body really nice for the spine, the lumbar, the thoracic. Nice. And then bring the hands down, give your arms and shoulders a little bit of a rest. Let me check the time, guys. We're doing alright. We're doing alright. Really good. So, I think we can get movement in number 4 in, okay? And then we're going to review all 4, okay? Everything's going well today. No glitches. Really good. Nice when that happens. Just got it together today. Okay. So, give your shoulder a bit of a roll forward and back. Kick your arms and picked up a bit of tension from those movements. Alright. This next one is called carrying the tiger to the top of the mountain. Okay? So imagine that you've got a sleepy tiger at the bottom of your Chinese mountain and you take it up to the temple. And temples in China tend to be on the top of the very tall mountains. And you have to bring a tiger with you. And you don't want to wake it because a sleepy, grumpy tiger is not something you want to contend with. So you want to pick it up gently, bring it up to the mountain, and deposit it in the temple. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to open one of both hands and circle it out. And then keeping the back straight, don't lean forward. You're going to bring the hands down, bring them up, circle out. Don't lean forward here. Just keep the body, the back straight. Keep the circling. So the idea is that at the bottom you pick up the sleepy tiger and you bring it up to the temple at the top, deposit it there, and you go down again. And again, one arm version will be opening to the side, coming down, and then coming straight up your center line, opening to the side, and down, and straight up in your center line. So guys, just think about this as an opportunity for whatever you're dealing with the last few days, last week. This is an opportunity just to reset yourself. Just get into the state of mind. Everything else stops. Nothing else matters. You are just you in the movement. You cease to become you. You are just the movement and the breath. Nothing else matters. Maybe you find that you're held together by the movement, in contrast to feeling in pieces at other times. So I'm going to move to the standing version now. And I'll keep going. Okay. When I'm standing, I'm not going to lean forward. I'm going to circle. I'm going to bend my knees. Come down, but not lean forward. Arms, straighten my legs. Bend my knees down. If you want a nice wide stance, you can go wide. You can go down a bit lower, but keeping the back straight. Depending on hip flexibility and things like that. Again, the aim is not about going as low as you can. They're just always into the flow. And then if I'm standing, the one side of my body coming up the center line, open out to the side, circle out, down, up one side of my body, circle out, down. Both arms. And I'm going to do one more. And then bring our hands on our belly. So check in with yourself, guys. Check in with your hands. Do they feel warm? Do they feel tingly? If they do, isn't that interesting? We haven't done any serious cardio exercise, but these movements, these graceful, soft movements, seem to really help get our energy, get our circulation out to the more distal parts of our body, to our fingers, to our hands, which is a good thing. Nothing is getting blocked or stuck. If your hands feel a bit warmer than they do, that's a really good sign. All right, so just before we finish, I'm just going to review the 4 movements that we introduced. All right, and this is 4 of a set of 18. So, number 1, arms up, down, up, down. And of course, the one side version is 1 arm up and down. And then number 2 is up, palms face each other, go away from each other, come back towards each other, up and down. Up, palms face each other, away, towards each other, down. One-sided, up, palm faces your center line, away, back, and down. Nice. And then number 3, up, and then swaying like you're in a football match, or you're a branch or a weed in the wind. It could be one arm that's extended, it could be higher up or it could be lower down. Whatever's right for your body today. And then the final one, scooping this tiger up, taking it to the top of the mountain, putting it in the temple, coming down again. And the one-sided version, scooping up the center line, circling out. And then you can see, and the video's there, it's going to be there on Facebook and YouTube to review. You can see the standing and the seated version. And what I'll do is I'll put a link to a YouTube video for the whole 18 steps, so you can become acquainted with them. Don't jump ahead. The video is going to have standing versions only, but I'll give you kind of hints on if you're doing this as a seated practice as well. So I'll put that up in just a minute. So while this stops, just when you click back on the video, you should see a link on the comments. All right, and you can explore it. We'll just wait for us to cover all the 18 movements in our own time, which I enjoy doing over the next few weeks. All right, come to an end. Have your hands on your belly, maybe just a little bit below your belly button. Close your eyes. Come back to the most important bit, the breath. Slow breath in. Feel your belly. Slow breath out. The belly falls down. Breathing in. Breathing out. One more. Slow breath in. Fill that. And slow breath out. Just keep your eyes closed and just know that you haven't done this alone. You've been here with me and everyone else doing it at the same time. Some people doing it right now live, but hundreds of people will be doing this and following this by the end of the week. It's an amazing community of moving gracefully and slowly and mindfully. It's truly an honor to be doing this with all of you. Thank you so much. I'll stick around to answer any questions or anything in the comments. Otherwise, from now on, you're going to have pre-recorded versions come up on 4 o'clock on Mondays, but I will be around, Alison will be around, so as you access the videos, do type in questions. We'll be around at 4 p.m. to in that period of time to respond to anything that you guys have. So thank you so much, guys. Have an amazing week. Alright. Lots of waves and high fives. Cool. Thanks, Alison. Brilliant. Alright, guys. I'm going to stop the recording of me now, but I'll stick around if you guys have any more questions. Okay. Take care, everyone. Bye. Thanks, Claire and Emma. Take care. Bye-bye.